Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. This is presentation persuasive speech number one. Uh, my topic that I chose was for stem cell research on the scale of curing disease, growing limbs, and organs. Now, starting with the basics of curing disease, what does this cover? It's not going to cure the common cold. It mutates way too rapidly for anyone to cure it. That's why that you take your flu shot every year because it mutates so fast. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's, um, Parkinson's, possibly tinnitus or tinnitus. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that. Um, and on the scale of a much grander scale, this is probably about 20 years in the future, unless some major advancements are made. Um, Organs, limbs, whatever people lose, either in combat overseas, in accidents at work, due to different illnesses and diseases. Theoretically, you could eliminate the organ donor waiting list. You wouldn't have to watch someone waste away in a hospital waiting on a kidney that's never going to come. Now, this will take a lot of time and research. We are in the very early stages of developmental research right now. A research team at Harvard recently took stem cells. They took normal cells from a human body and they introduced different genes, and they were able to make iPS cells. What that abbreviates to induced pluripotent stem cells. Um, they abbreviated it to iPS cells, and they have a really good rate to actually create these. Now, when it comes to actually making them, there's only so many that are viable. What they end up doing is they get rid of the gene in the cells to that tells them stop dividing. And when that happens, the cells keep dividing and multiplying like cells normally do. The problem with that is those genes that you're removing and adding to turn into stem cells, what they came across was those same stem cells were causing cancer. So they reworked their program and made a new batch that didn't grow as rapidly. And they only were able to save about 300 per 1,000. Only 300 cells out of 1,000 were actually viable and strong enough to be usable for research. That's not a large pool. That's less than half. That's about a third of the entire culture. Now, with more research and study, I can definitely see them making it 1,000 out of 1,000 cells are viable. It's definitely possible. It just needs more time and research. There are 1 in 3 Americans every day that could benefit from this. 1 in 3 Americans have an illness that could one day be cured or at the very least treated with stem cell research. Now, at Whitehead Institute, it's they're researching this as well. Not only Harvard, but also other places such as Whitehead Institute. And they are saying in the future it will be possible to regrow limbs, organs, and cure disease. Now, as we learn more about stem cells, we're moving closer to a future where we can help the most amount of people on an unprecedented level. I mean, 30% of Americans can be helped. I mean, the numbers are astronomical. I believe last time I checked, America has a population of about 340 million. So if we take our calculator, 340 million times 33%, that is 112.2 million people that could be helped in America. That's just America. We're not even talking about the rest of the world. We're not talking about anyone over to the east. We're not talking about any other countries. That's just America, that 112 million people could be helped. Now, the different types of diseases that could be managed with stem cells range anywhere from autoimmune to different viruses, such as potentially the AIDS virus. You have autoimmune diseases such as Crohn's disease. You have different viruses that don't really have a cure. You have different illnesses such as cancers that damage you in such a way that you can't recover. You lose an organ, you lose a limb. If you get bone cancer, you have to get your bones taken out because they're cancerous and it's going to spread. Or if you have a cancer in one of your organs, it can all eventually, it can all be replaced. And I believe that this is the future of medicine. That is one of the only ways that I can foresee of fixing the most amount of medical problems with the most versatile solution. Stem cells can change into any type of cell. You want them to turn into different neurons for the brain to help someone with Parkinson's? By all means. Same thing, you would change it to neurons and put them in a different part of the brain for Alzheimer's. It's the same thing. They are the most versatile cell. You can turn them into bone cells. You can turn them into skin cells, muscle tissue, blood cells. The only thing you couldn't make with it is, well, anything that's not organic. Uh, could potentially make plasma with it. You could potentially make organs with it, eliminating the organ donor list. Someone who was over in Iraq who was fighting for our country who can't make their own cup of coffee anymore can be helped. They can have some semblance of a normal life. A mother of three who's had bone cancer and can't go to work anymore because, well, she doesn't have hands. Well, instead of spending thousands upon hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially on bionic prosthetics to actually be able to function in society, it's completely possible, at least in the future, to grow a set of hands for her. Now, I do foresee some laws being a bit stringent about it. For example, if it got public to the point where anyone could get new organs, new hands for a cheap price, fingerprinting would be a bit of an issue for the police, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In the time being, we need to do a lot more research into stem cells because they are the future of medical innovation. Thank you.